Welcome to Daily Dose. My name is Robert. It's my pal Susan. We're talking about all things Disney half marathon and actually related things to that because, as Susan mentioned last year, she was with my mom and dad and I when we were at Disney World for the full marathon, the first time we did an event of this scale. And the travel involved there, which included a flight and had many issues. Did you want to start there with maybe some of your remembrances about what that was like? Because you were crucially important in that endeavor.
Well, I thought you were crazy.
Let's start there.
Just start there. I mean, you've never run a marathon before.
Yeah.
You just thought, sure, and you asked your dad, and you guys even had a choice of a 5K or a 10K, which might have been reasonable. Never done. Well, you did your 7 mile thing in the
We
Beta
did the
Break.
Beta Breakers,
Had a little.
and that was honestly relatively easy, and it had the big Hayes Street Hill. Yeah, I want to cut to the chase on one thing there that you thought that, and what was great was in the post-race reflection. I remember last year when we had a bunch of people on a Zoom call, including your husband Chip, who's a medical doctor. He said, "Robert, I really didn't think you were going to be able to do this. I really." So
And this year, I felt like it was more like, well, I guess it was the same. I was going to say, should you? I just was laying so much faith and trust in you knowing every nuance of your parents and your own capacity. And the thing that I was referencing toward the end of the last dose was what I guess I want to call a never say die attitude. You have you just you don't give up, and you're not foolish. You don't do things that are foolish and that you shouldn't do. But this really felt like it was close to the edge.
however,
I just see you take on things that normal human beings maybe uh, stop themselves and think that would have been fun. And I think I know why. I think because when you mention it to your dad, he lights up. He's ready for anything. And when he goes and does it, even though he's not running,
right.
he's bouncing over every cobblestone and pavement for miles and miles, pillows and all. It's got to be challenging. And I saw your dad last year, and I saw the pictures this year, happy and clapping, and people saying, "Go, Dan, go." And he's feeling that and cheering along with it. So that must be why you do it.
Yeah, you're really right. One thing that I learned fairly early on in the caretaking role was working with my dad and a therapist who I think very wisely told my dad about the importance of having something to look forward to, right?
Mm.
Especially in the face of aging and a chronic illness that's going to get worse. That having a bright pillar of hope, something to go, that looks like fun. That's a reason to get up today because in a week, a month, whatever, I have this thing out there and that's going to be special. So I have worked, I mean, from the beginning of my time of being in close proximity back again with my parents over the last 2.5 years to immediately. That was why I said, I pitched the Beta Breakers to my dad right away. I said, I need something out there for us, right? Because that's what Boys of Summer had been for so long, right? It was, let's put this in front of us. And then it was the follow-up of, oh, here's the film. Oh, let's do it again. I needed to keep putting things in front of my dad to say, you still matter. Because there's a really important scene in the second Boys of Summer when Dad and Giuseppe and I went camping, where I asked him how he was doing, and he said, "I'm just a guy that's getting along." And I was very concerned with that answer and telling him, I hope you'll see who you are through my eyes, through the grandkids' eyes, that
Wow.
you're a grandfather, that you are a father, you are somebody who matters to us more than just what you're feeling internally with the pain and the struggle. You're somebody who matters to others. And to keep presenting to him, not just say it, but present it in inclusive ways, right? That's the key. It's one thing you tell somebody, you matter. But where are you physically showing them the matter by making these sometimes very big efforts to make sure they're included? I mean, Dad on a race course is something that doesn't make much sense. in the broad sense. Thank goodness, because of technology and the wonderful people at Team Hoyt, and then, asking and them saying yes, and there's dad doing something he never thought he'd be doing, at this age, in this stage.
Here to that. And I would also like to celebrate everything you just said for any of us who have parents or anybody in our lives who has a challenge.
Yeah.
This is a gift you've just given us to think about.
Well, when it comes to inclusivity, and that's one of the gifts that comes back to me is people coming up to me on the course or emailing me or Facebook messaging me since to say, what you did made me think about my son or my dad or myself, and wanting to be in that space, that my dad gets to be seen and represent. Yeah, you know what? There's someone else who's not being included right now. How can we get them included? I mean, if you don't think it matters, look at his face. And then, by the way, these are on the blog too. Look at their faces at Disneyland when they're on the rides. They still, for all the challenges, can be thrilled. We'll talk more about that when we get into it.
Okay.
Daily dose.
Okay.
But it's so important to give people life, and we can do
Thank you. Thank you for shining a light on that for things beyond marathons.